Welcome to Finance This, Property That. My name's Dion Fernandez, and this podcast is for property enthusiasts, time-poor professionals, self-employed borrowers, and strategic investors looking for residential or commercial property who want more than just a low interest rate. They want a strategy and a team around them. Each week, I'll share strategies, structures, and lending moves that actually grow wealth, not just get you the loan. And also, I will help you surround yourself with information from professionals in their field. If you're here to build smart, not slow, you're in the right place. My vision is to empower financial legacies for generations. I am a mortgage planner and finance strategist, and I work with doctors, developers, business owners, and high-income earners to build serious property portfolios. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode. Today, we're talking around, should you use your SMSF to buy a property? It's a question I'm getting asked a lot at the moment, and it's a really, really great strategy to grow your property portfolio. However, proceed with caution because it is not for everyone, and you do need to get the strategy and advice from more than just the finance point of view. I've found that most SMSF loans cost more money because 1, your setup wasn't done correctly, 2, you're rushing your strategy, 3, you're not actually getting the right advice, and more importantly, that actually means you're not ready. So what I'm going to go through today are 3 key points. What is allowed and what's not, why SMSF lending is different, and when does it make sense? Cool. So let's go with the first part. What's allowed and what's not? Well, residential and commercial properties can be bought inside SMSF. Now, what type of property you can buy will be up to the lender because they'll have some restrictions on type of property and postcode. Cool. So that's allowed, and you can buy the residential property inside your superannuation and commercial inside your superannuation. However, stay with me for a little Easter egg, especially if you're a business owner, about when we get to the when it makes sense part. The next part, what's not allowed? Renovations. Now, yes, you can do renovations. No worries. It's about who you're getting to do the renovations. You have to be very, separated from any part on the loan or the property. So we had the guys on previously who are financial planners who also said that, looking at renovations, you need to actually go get it quoted, get an independent third party to do your renovations. That way it's all at arm's length and it saves you potentially being audited or having to pay more money in case you are audited. Cool. The other key thing, what's not allowed inside of SMSF. If you're buying a residential property, you cannot live in there. Single acquirable asset, you cannot live in that property. It's investment only. Look, if you do live in that property and you get caught, you could be in a bit of trouble. The only time that you can actually use the property, well, wait till the end because I'll tell you when. Why is SMSF lending different? Great question. Well, firstly, let's talk about servicing. How is an SMSF loan or self-managed super fund loan serviced? Pretty simple. If you've got a self-managed super fund and you are either a employee, so you're working for someone else, they pay your tax, or you're self-employed, your employer or yourself as the business owner is contributing superannuation contributions to the inside the SMSF. So if you're PAYG, it's generally 12% that your employer will pay, and you can go up to, currently in this financial year, up to $30,000 worth of contributions with the discount. You can go over, but you'll actually pay marginal tax rates when you go over. Again, speak to your accountant should you go over. But if you're a business owner, you can also put up to $30,000 worth of contribution per member. So if there's 2 members, you can contribute up to $60,000 each within the discounted tax rate inside of super. The other way it services is from the income produced from the property that you're buying. So let's say that you're purchasing a rental property, we'll use the rental income plus the superannuation guarantee contributions. The loans must be it's limited recourse lending. So the loan itself can't be held inside the self-managed super fund. What you do need to do is create a bare trust, which is separate, which will hold the property, but the superannuation fund, the self-managed super fund holds the loan. That way they're not tied together. So yes, this then now comes to my third point is it does cost a lot more because you've got to set up the self-managed super fund. The self-managed super fund then also needs to get audited every year. And then also to buy a property, you need to set up a bare trust. Now, if you've also got multiple properties inside your self-managed super fund, it's one bare trust per property. It's a single acquirable asset. So one bare trust cannot hold more than one property. And then when you pay out the loan inside the SMSF, so there is you paid out the loan, the property's still inside the bare trust, you then need to get that property transferred into the SMSF. On the title. So there's a small charge of the title fees that get added to it as well. So there are a couple of differences between normal lending outside of SMSF and lending inside of SMSF. But here's the question that I get asked, well, when does it make sense to actually buy inside your SMSF? Well, I alluded to this in the first point, what's allowed and what's not. And I said that you can't for personal use, you can't use your SMSF for personal use. So when you get a residential property, you can't live in that property. However, if you're a business owner, here's a bit of a Easter egg for you. If you're a business owner and you've got enough money in your SMSF, you can potentially purchase a commercial property inside your SMSF and your business can then rent that property out from the SMSF. And you then obviously run the business from that property. That is literally the only time you can use the property for your own benefit. Awesome, right? I've helped heaps of self-employed clients / business owners do this strategy. And it makes sense because you're already paying rent. Well, why don't you just pay rent to something that's going to end up being in your best interest later on down the track as well? It also makes sense if you're an investor, and this is just coming from my personal experience, what I asked my financial planner, Troy from Willow Wealth, because I said, look, I've got I've got a pretty decent amount in my super. Can I go and invest? He goes, mate, probably not yet. I'd like to see you probably around about the $350,000 to $500,000 mark before we start investing in super, because right now you can do a lot outside of your super before tapping into your super. Let's just grow the super fund organically first, and then we can do some other key investments outside. So that brings me to my next point. When does it make sense? Is, well, when you actually go get the advice and the advisors are actually saying, yes, it makes sense in your current situation to go do something inside your SMSF. So going back to my first point, the key factor around it costs more money because you're not ready. If you're looking at SMSF, let's get ready. Firstly, you can come and see me and I can look at what's the borrowing power in your current SMSF, because that's the starting point. 2, if you're even thinking about SMSF, you need a good accountant, you need a good financial planner, and then obviously you need a good finance guy. I know a guy, it's me. So you need that team behind you to grow that, because it is quite a minefield when it comes to the legalities of it all, what you can, what you can't do. I've just given you a really high level approach. So if you need a financial planner or an accountant, mate, there's been so many that have been on the episodes previously. You've got Morgan from Credit. You've got also Meg from Third Space. They're 2 great accountants. And also you've got Troy from Willow Wealth, who's an amazing financial planner. All here to help you. Reach out. If you need help, just come and ask me. I'll sort it out and I'll do the introduction for you. But the information on this podcast, as always, is very general in nature, doesn't take into consideration your current circumstances. If you want to know more about your personal circumstances, let's have a chat. Very easy to find on Instagram at Dion Finance Specialist, on LinkedIn, Dion Fernandez, and the website, financethispropertythat.com.au, and you can catch up on all the other episodes that you missed there. And we're also on Apple and Spotify, should you choose to listen, and also YouTube if you want to see my beautiful face. Until next time, see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening.